Alrighty boys, welcome back to another step-by-step video, and today's video is going to be on Vigil. Now one of my viewers asked me to make a Vigil video about roaming. Now one of the things that I really quickly want to mention, guys, is that when I play Rainbow Six Siege, I'm always going to be streaming, and typically when you're streaming, it means that I'm very likely to get stream sniped during my games. And since I am one of those very paranoid types of streamers, I do have a tendency to believe that I am getting stream sniped whenever I die on a roam. So one thing I want you guys to understand is that I don't do much like deep roaming whenever I do play like Vigil or any other like roaming operator, because typically, to go into like one of the first steps that I wanted to talk about is like typically when you're doing like a roam, you usually want to start on like one of the outside entry points typically when you're doing like roaming. Now there is another type of roaming where you do like shallow roaming. However, I do feel like as a roamer, you should typically start on like a deep roam. And what I mean by a deep roam is that you're looking for anybody who potentially is like rushing the other side of the map, like that type of thing. You know what I mean? Like for example, during this game, and unfortunately I didn't clip this, but one of the rounds that we went red and green bedroom bomb site, one of the enemy players actually rushed through garage, like specifically on the garage door, and just tried to run right in without even droning, and I was able to get myself a free kill. So one thing that I want to quickly mention is that you always, when you're playing like some kind of roamer or doing some kind of shallow roam, you always want to start at some of the common entry points that the enemy team will usually like to do. Just think of like the places that you like to enter from whenever you're on attack, and then just go to those type of locations if they're like very far away from the bomb site. Now, like I said earlier in this video, unfortunately, I'm one of those type of streamers that's very paranoid, so I don't like to sit in one place for too long whenever I am on a roam, which is kind of bad because sometimes you can get potential free kills just by standing still somewhere as like a normal player and just waiting for somebody to come to that location of the map. So that's one thing I want to mention. Like for example, right here, I get Twitch drone. This tells me that I'm getting like stream sniped out of my mind. They're working some kind of pincer, so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna rotate back to site, which comes back to my next like topic that I want to talk about is shallow roaming. And shallow roaming is just like where you're playing like very close to the objective, so that way you can rotate back in whenever you feel like the need is necessary. So like right there, as soon as I got Twitch drone, I just rotate back into site right away and gave up my roam, and then now I just played on top of site with the SMG-12 and the Boss G. Now, one thing I do want to mention, guys, when do you use your SMG-12 or when do you use your Boss G? The moments that I like to use the Boss G are going to be for my mid to long range gunfights, and I do see a lot of Vigil players making a common mistake like this, where they try to use the SMG-12 for every distance. They try to be like the most like cracked out with the recoil control, but I'm going to be honest, guys, this gun is not built for long range gunfights. Whenever you have the option of using the Boss G for the long range gunfights, you really should be, in my opinion, because it's going to lead to you winning more of your gunfights. And even if you don't get the kill on somebody on a long range gunfight with the Boss G, you're still going to lower their health down to like 1 HP, which is still going to be high value. Now, there are going to be like a lot of maps on this game where I would consider like most of the map to be like a shallow roam. Like for example, I feel like this map is like a good example of that. Like if we're going to the reading bomb site, that's like smack in like the middle of like the whole map. So like everything is a shallow roam. Now right here, I'm going for a spawn peek. Nobody's going to actually peek me though, so I'm not going to be able to actually get a kill here. This is a nice little interesting spawn peek that you guys could do. However, the one thing that I do want to watch out for when I am playing Vigil on this map in particular is I want to watch out for the bakery take. Remember what I said earlier, how there's people that like to walk in to areas of the map without droning? This is what happened here, is that somebody tried to walk into bakery. He probably has a preset in the hallway right now. However, since I walked down red stairs like a little bit late into the round, he feels comfortable walking into bakery and trying to go for this red staircase without really droning again to make sure that it's all clear. You see what I'm saying? And this is basically in a nutshell what your job is as a Vigil. I wouldn't recommend playing like directly on someone's entry point, but you want to try to get to an entry point as somebody is trying to walk in, if that makes sense. For example, have you ever had a round where you have just droned out like an entire area of the map, and then as soon as you walk in, somebody just rotates in and kills you? That's pretty much what you're trying to accomplish when you are playing a roam, and this is for the aspect of getting kills. That's the one thing I want you guys to understand. There is a type of roaming when you're playing to just deny space. Like for example here, The idea that I'm going for right now is that I'm not really so much looking for kills. I'm more just trying to deny this space for red staircase and also for whiskey. Like, I'm trying to deny the basement floor, basically. And if nobody actually tries to get me out of this position, I'm going to be able to walk up to flank for reading here for this guy that was on the reading door. Unfortunately, I missed my 2 boss G shots, so I'm going to have to rotate away. Now, I'm the type of player where, like, I won't ego contest again if I do miss my original shots to get the kill. So I go ahead and just rotate back up red, and I just reposition. Now, I feel like this is really important to do on any operator, is that when you take a gunfight with someone, you should just start repositioning after the fact. And you're going to see here, I'm going to rotate over towards mining here. I'm going to swing again for pillar here. I'm going to end up killing a knock for free. Now, that distance was a distance that I could have been using the SMG-12. However, I do feel like if you know exactly where the last person is, using the boss G is a very easy method of killing them. Because the one thing you guys got to understand with this season is that the boss G, it did get nerfed. So, like in the super long range gunfights, like 20 meters plus, you don't get the full 125 damage for each shot. It gets a very big damage reduction, but it still puts you to like 1 HP. So what that means is that if you are playing the boss chain in like a close range setting, for example, right here for this red hallway for next to reading, there's going to be this buck that's going to try to challenge me. And this is a perfect distance for the boss G. And I wanted to quickly mention that because sometimes if you use the boss G in these like kind of like close range environments, you're just going to get a free one tap on somebody. And I got to be honest with you guys, it's really hard to take a 1v1 with a Vigil or just any operator that has the boss G in a close range environment, because when you think about it, like if you don't kill them like instantly, you're gonna either get put up to 1 HP or you're gonna die instantly. One of the other videos that I'm thinking about making soon is actually gonna be a Dokkaebi video with the boss G, and one of the places that I was gonna put into that video that I am gonna leak right here is actually, so when you're attacking bank on the basement bomb site for server, right, one of the things that people like to do is they like to hide behind the server rack. The other day when I was playing, I actually played smoke in that position, and what actually ended up happening was there was a Dokkaebi that was pushing my server, okay? And long story short, my idea was that I could just wide swing whenever I get audio to kill whoever's trying to push my dirt on the walk-in, right? However, here's what ended up happening is that the enemy player had the boss G, and so all he had to do was just take the angle away from me and then just wait. And then as long as I walked in front of him, as long as he could hit one bullet onto me, he would get a free kill onto me, and that's what ended up happening. So I ended up dying for free at the beginning of a round on a bank game for dirt. And I wanted to bring that up because this is the power of the boss G, guys, is that if you can get these close range gunfights, just like in this clip right here, where the enemy team, they don't hit you like in time, like it's pretty much like this. I can hit a body shot on you to one tap you in the close range. You have to hit a headshot on me to kill me. You know what I mean? That's the only way that you're gonna win the gunfight. You're gonna see here, like again, I got 4 kills in this close proximity of this picnic piano area, and it's just like the whole enemy team is flooding me one by one, but I'm just getting easy kills onto them. So typically when I play Vigil, the idea that I'm going for is that I'm going to be mostly running around with the boss G. If I hit you and you don't die, like you don't get injured or anything like that, then my next plan of action would be to whip out the SMG-12, because basically the idea is like, if I hit you with the boss G, right, and you're either going to die or you're going to be 1 HP, right? Okay. And what that means is that if I hit you on a long-range gunfight, right, with the boss G, all I really have to do is whip out my SMG-12. It's the fastest fire rate weapon in the game, so all I have to do is hit you one time after the fact, and then I'm going to be able to kill you for free. You know what I mean? Right now, Vigil easily has the strongest kit, combined with his gadget of being able to turn invisible to all cameras is like really kind of busted. Like I said, guys, I'm not the type to do like super long roams where I look for like big flanks or anything like that, but I am the type of person that I like to shallow roam, and I like to play like an entry point at the end of the map that people like to enter for you know what I mean, for like whatever they're trying to do, whatever rat play or whatever play that they're trying to go for. I do try to do plays like that whenever I play like a roaming operator like Vigil. And then the idea that I'm looking for is that if nobody's pushing my side of the map, then typically I'm gonna then convert into a shallow roam. And then once I convert into a shallow roam, we're gonna see here there's gonna be 2 people that die on site in this position. So what that means is that now I have to turn on my Vigil scan. I'm gonna dodge the lion scan here, and I'm gonna start working my flank for filter right here, and you're gonna see here there's gonna actually be a line that's gonna be my filter. He's actually gonna end up hearing me right here, but unfortunately for him, I'm gonna be able to get myself a very easy kill onto him, and it's gonna put us now into a 3v3 position. And in this type of position now, the idea that is that since it's a 3v3 position, all I really need to do now is just rotate into the site. I don't have to roam anymore, and I don't have to go for like a big flank anymore. The better option in this position is to just play inside of the site at this point and just play with my teammates to make sure there's no gaps for sight. Because one of the things that is very hard to understand for a lot of players is that when you're in these type of positions, 3v3 position, your main goal is to try to prevent the gaps onto the bomb site. You're going to see here, there's going to be a guy on my missile doorway. I'm going to hit him with the boss G shot. He's going to get hit to 1 HP. Then he's going to swing into me again. I'm going to get another free kill for him. And then right here, I'm going to be put into a 1v1 with this ace. Now, once again, guys, he's on that locker's doorway. It's a long-range gunfight, mid to long-range gunfight. So I'm going to whip out the boss G. I'm going to try to hit him with the boss G. I hit the shot on him. Luckily for me, I get a headshot. However, if I didn't get the headshot here, it'd be just that same type of thing again, where I just whip out the SMG-12 and then I just finish him off with the SMG-12 after I hit him once with the boss G on the mid-range gunfight, mid to long-range gunfight. Now, one of the last things that I wanted to talk about for this video is actually going to be roaming with a purpose. And what I mean by that is that you're going to be roaming like a part of the map that is high value. So like, for example, what I mean by that is like for Chalet, for example, for the basement bomb site, this is a very common bomb site that a lot of people want to play for the roam typically. Now, the reason why you would want to do a roam here is typically what the enemy team tries to go for on this map is that they'll usually open up long angle, they'll try to open up the boiler wall, and then they'll try to funnel onto pillar to basically get a plant onto pillar, and they use like utility to clear out pillar and make it like pretty much unwinnable for the enemy team that they're playing against. Now, one thing that I like to do when I play Vigil on this map is I like to roam over upstairs for kitchen dining trophy west main, and the idea here is that we're going to have vert for the long hallway, and the idea is that if the enemy team doesn't try to push me out of this position, I'm going to be able to peek that vert to get myself very easy kills. So you're going to see right here, there's going to actually be vert for my hallway here. My doc actually ended up making this. However, I should have made this with one of my impacts earlier on in the round. You're going to see here, I'm going to peek the vert. There's going to be a Dokubi on the fridge. I actually got audio for this guy. That's why I knew he was there. So I ended up swinging him aggressive with the SMG-12. It's just a very easy area of the map to use my SMG-12 on a close range gunfight. So I ended up winning that gunfight easily off of the unexpected angle, because he was expecting me to peek from the right side. I peeked from the left side though, so I was able to get myself a very easy kill for him. And then like I said, guys, in this type of position, the enemy team has to push me and get rid of me from this position to actually win this round. However, since they're not doing it, I pretty much have free real estate up here, and I'm basically going to be able to shut down their whole push just from this position. I'm going to get audio once again of another guy being on the fridge, and I'm going to shoot this guy from vert as well to get myself another easy kill. The last guy in this position is actually going to be Trench in this position. Now, the thing that I want you guys to understand is that in my head, I'm like, okay, the boiler side of the push for Trench is not like a play for him, so he's going to have to rotate over to Big Garage to try to make some kind of play or trophy in this position. I opted to believe that he would go Big Garage in this position. However, he's going to end up just baiting outside a trophy here. My Warden's going to end up swinging aggressively and selling his body here. I'm going to end up trying to run out to try to see if he's at the top of the staircase. However, he's not at the top of the staircase. He's just going to be sitting on Trench door. He gets a free kill on my Warden, so I'm going to have to rotate back to the long hallway here. And then this Barbar is going to actually give away my position, so I'm going to stop right at the corner. He's going to burn some of his mag here, and then all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to start pre-firing to make him burn his magazine. And then when he burns his magazine, I'm going to go ahead and just run back into sight to off position myself, and then I'm going to go and walk back out into the position again, and I'm going to go ahead and just play this really close range gunfight because I have the SMG-12, he has the AR-33. This is a winning gunfight for me all day long, so I'm going to go ahead and get myself a free kill and secure the round right there. But that pretty much does it for this video, guys. As like a final thought process here for Vigil, the one thing that I want you guys to be doing when you're playing like a roam is that you want to typically be doing like a roam where you're either denying an entry point, like a very common entry point that the attackers like to use, or you're playing for some kind of space that's like incredibly valuable, like for Chalet, for the kitchen dining area of the map. If the enemy team doesn't push me, then they have no push, you know what I mean? So they have to get rid of me. If they don't, then I'm going to basically get free kills on them for the entire round. And that's the mindset that you guys got to have when you are playing Vigil. Now, one thing I want you guys to understand, though, is that roaming is not about just getting big flanks and getting like a ton of kills. It's more about denying space and burning time. And the one thing that I want you guys to understand is while Vigil may be like an operator that's very good for building or for burning time, you know what I mean, with his gadget. The one thing that I need you guys to understand is that this operator is really, really good for getting kills. Like, he probably has the strongest kit on defense because you pretty much have a long range shotgun that can one shot people. And even if you, like I said, even if you don't one shot them, because obviously it got nerfed, even if you don't one-shot them, you're still going to be able to light them up to 1 HP on those mid to long-range gunfights, and you're going to be able to whip out your SMG-12 to finish them off in the first place. You're going to see here, once again, we're going to swing. I'm going to go ahead and kill one guy on the breach. I'm going to end up actually killing the planter, and then I'm going to go ahead and swing aggressively to kill the ace that I hit earlier with my boss G. He was once again on 1 HP. I did get a headshot on him, so it didn't necessarily matter that he was 1 HP. However, that's the one thing that's the power with the SMG-12 boss G combo, is that I can hit you with the boss G, and then I can swing with the SMG-12 to finish you off. It's the highest fire rate gun in the game, so it's going to be easy kills for me. But anyway, guys, that's going to pretty much do it for today's step-by-step video. Like I said, make sure you use your boss G for mid to long range gunfights. Use your SMG-12 for the close range gunfights to finish off people, or if you don't believe you're going to be able to get the kill with the boss G, then I'd highly recommend to use the SMG-12 in those mid to close range gunfights as well. The rest of this video is going to mostly be a couple of extra clips that I got when I was using Vigil. Like I said, guys, I'm the type where I don't really like, you know what I mean, do big roams or anything like that. I'm more of like a shallow roamer when I do typically play Vigil. Obviously, since I'm a streamer, it's going to be hard for me to do like super deep roams and get really nice clips on deep roams. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's step-by-step video. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!
10 seconds left. 5 seconds and counting. Op 4 has located a bomb. Be ready for hostile action.
Setting the welcome mat.
Someone exposed you.
Okay.
Followed.
Loading new magazine.
I'm reloading!
Someone is tracking you down. Someone is tracking you. Op 4, last operator standing.
Deploying shield. Deploying welcome.
Friendly's victorious. Hostiles eliminated.
She's ready and waiting. Hostile spotted. First floor.
말보다는 행동이지.